discuss all of this is Joel Rubin. He's a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for the Obama administration. So much taking place overseas. Let's start with the gas supply issue. Break down why were new sanctions imposed by the West, and will this actually help the situation?
Well, Marcel, the gas situation is a challenge, a problem of Russia's own creation. There's no real need for Russia to cut off gas supplies to Europe. But Europe has been mitigating the potential damage of these cuts because everyone, frankly, saw it coming. Vladimir Putin likes to use extortion to get what he wants. Energy is a key lever that he has available to him, but it has been weakening in its power. So gas now is being exported by the U.S., by Qatar, by Turkey, Iraqi gas through Turkey. There are a lot of alternative routes to ensure that Europeans don't freeze this winter, and that's to everyone's benefit. And hopefully Vladimir Putin gets the message that he can't use his energy supplies to try to obtain his objectives in Ukraine.
Yeah, and besides all of this, do you see a stronger response by Europe in a couple of weeks to what's happening?
Yeah, I think Europe is wise to Vladimir Putin, and now even with the new British Prime Minister Liz Truss. That's just one more strong Russia hawk, to be direct about it, where she doesn't want to see any weakening of the pressure on Vladimir Putin to stop his invasion. The pressure will continue. The weaponry that the United States and others are sending to Ukraine is highly sophisticated. We are engaged in repetitive training with the Ukrainian military. They're engaged in the counteroffensive. So this is an ongoing struggle, certainly. But Russia is being confronted aggressively still and is not going to see a weakening of the coalition against it.
All right, Joel, let's shift on over to Zaporizhzhia. So much taking place right now. A new report. What is it highlighting, and what is the biggest challenge that this huge nuclear power plant is facing at this time?
The danger of a nuclear power plant being shut down or being damaged in what we're looking at Zaporizhzhia is that we, in theory, could have a meltdown if the cooling water is no longer functioning to cool that plant. And that's not currently the case, and it's still connected to a certain extent with the grid. But there's shelling going on, and Russia is violating tacit agreements it made with Ukraine about avoiding the shelling. The IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, is not just there, or did not just go there for a rapid visit, but is trying to have ongoing monitoring. The big picture problem is that if this power plant does fully go down, it's another energy supply source, going to this question we were just discussing, which is Russia using very harmful tools against civilians. And this is a country that has displaced 15 million Ukrainians already, civilians. And so they don't seem to really have many limits, if any, when it comes to harming civilians, innocent civilians, and taking down a power plant is another demonstration of that.
Yeah, no, and this connection to the grid is essential. Has there been a response to how quickly this can happen? Is it going to happen at all? Could we see it happen this week? It seems where it's trending, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's part of the diplomacy is trying to get Russia to pull back and get the certainty back that this supply will maintain itself on the grid. So it doesn't have to be that way. It could be a game of chicken. We've seen Russia back away earlier, making nuclear threats or hinting at nuclear weapons threats and pulling back and making statements that it would never launch a nuclear weapon unless it was as a response. So they may very well be playing a game of chicken to see how far they can push to get some kinds of gains and maybe full autonomy or control of Zaporizhzhia. But I don't think that's going to work. And I think that's what the game is right now. It's a very dangerous and diabolical game, though. Yeah, let's break down the new detail that we have today. Why did Russia impose these new sanctions on Americans, including the celebrities? We have to break that down. Well,
not many American celebrities want to go to Russia these days, so it's not like it's going to have a real impact on these individuals. But Russia must be feeling the pinch. We are, as a country, the United States, sanctioning multiple leaders of the Russian economy, of its military industrial complex, of its political leadership. And these are hurting. And these are direct sanctions straight into the pocketbooks of the people around Putin and the people that are responsible for maintaining his regime. So Putin wants to try to
find other levers to pressure the United States and to pressure the West, and going after our celebrities may be a low-hanging fruit from his perspective, but I don't think that our people are going to feel so bad about not being able to go to Russia.
Yeah, no, this continues to be an ongoing conversation. Joel Rubin, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us here.
Thanks, Marcel.